Well, we are so excited to introduce you to our first and very special guest, Shannon Richardson. And she has an incredible story that we think all of you need to hear. So, Amanda and Shannon, y'all known each other, right?
That's
For a while?
Yes, we met when I was pregnant with Cade.
Okay, that's right.
And he's 4. So, yes, we were visiting a church where you're, Grace, where you're a member at.
That's right.
And I remember maybe it was the first time we visited. I was so sick and with morning sickness, but it's not just morning, it's 24/7 for like half the pregnancy for me.
Right.
And I just remember talking to a friend, and she was asking me if I was okay, and I was like, well, it's not just morning sickness, but in my mind I'm thinking she's not going to understand. She said, no, like I have a friend who will totally understand. And anyway, she said, Shannon Richardson, she's been through this and she will understand.
Shannon, you and your husband have started a business. Can you tell us a little bit about that, where the name came from, and what exactly is it?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So when we were expecting our first child, Emma, we started looking online. You know, you get all excited about registering for your baby and all this, and I thought, oh my heavens, how expensive are children? Very expensive. And I had a friend in another state that had a big hand in their consignment sale that they ran in their little town. And so I thought, well, that would be a really cool idea here in Oxford. Hunter and I have no business background. We had no idea what we were doing, to be quite honest, but we went to the Small Business Development Center at the university, and we kind of tried to do it the right way and set it up as an LLC. And so that kind of was the birth of Oxford We Cycle. And so play on words of recycle and then the WEE, like small children. However, we do actually take from infant to teenager as far as clothing goes.
That's catchy.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would be.
So cute.
I was hoping it would be. Hunter was like, oh, I'm not really sure about the name, but it stuck. So we started it in a little, it was actually the Lamar House, which is a museum now. And so, but we started our first sale there. It was so cute and quaint and homey, and it was a really pretty, I feel like every year we've hopefully gotten better. We'll never be perfect, obviously, but we try to do a good job for the community and for the sellers. So
Y'all do a great job. I think it's a very cool idea, and it's worked.
I mean, it does help our family. It helps our family, with financial needs and things like that, obviously. But I love the volunteers. That's my favorite part. The volunteers that come in and they're mamas or expecting mamas or just people that want to just help out. But we also want to help families make some extra income because it is expensive. And then also help families that maybe can't afford as many, boutique or name brand, items full price, be able to shop and dress their kids in cute things like we all want to do. So we don't. If it ever stops being about the community aspect, then I'm done with it. But we hope that our love of Christ does show through.
And I see so much courage in starting something like that because I see what all goes into it, and I think a lot of people have ideas to start things, but it's a matter of actually starting it and doing it, and especially when you don't feel like you have the resources or you don't have someone guiding you and saying this is how you do it, but actually seeking out, like you said, going to the business school and figuring out how do I make this an LLC, and we don't really know what we're getting ourselves into, but it just takes a lot of courage. And I mean, were there times that you just kind of felt like, I don't know what I'm doing, or why did I do this? And
Absolutely.
How did that play out?
Absolutely. That's a great question. When we first started, we went into it knowing that the 2 weekends out of the year that we host it, it is so physically and emotionally and mentally draining. It just is. It's just the nature of it. It's very physical, setting all that stuff, tables and racks and bins and clothing and gear and toys and all this stuff, bringing it in. And then I'm sort of the one that has to run all the kind of behind the scenes. Hunter's the brawn, I'm the brains, if you can call it that. But he does a great job in helping, and but it's exhausting. And every sale, like the Sunday of every sale, we're just like, oh, we're never doing this again. But of course, after a week or so, we're like, oh, it's so worth it. And you know what's really worth it is hearing parents say or mama say, I want you to know that because of your sale, you've helped me provide a better Christmas for my kids, or help, just help make ends meet, or I just feel good about giving it to the community, or we get validation that way, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, well, and I know you, Shannon, in the few years that I've known you, I mean, that's your heart, wanting to give back, and so I know it's great to hear those stories of when you can see what's happening. But, after now, do you look back and can you see more reasons of why you were prompted to start this?
Yes.
Because I know a lot of times in my life, I can look back on things and I really didn't know the full story, but I can look back and see, so.
Oh, God has, I really feel like if we let him, God uses this to his glory.
So you have 2 daughters.
I do.
Tell us about them. And I know Emma and Meg, but I know Emma a little better.
Yes, because she's a little closer to Kate's age. Yeah, I know. Emma is 5, and she is a ball of energy and fire and smiles and giggles. And she is my love, my first little girl. And she's also on the autism spectrum. And so that kind of sets her apart a little bit. She has some speech delay. Any kind of food she is going to be able to request. Okay, so food is her thing, and she can name every food item out there, but she just doesn't prefer to use language to communicate. And the saying is, it's not a disability, it's a different ability, and so we try to focus on that. And I think a lot of times, with any need or with any deficit in our lives, we try to focus on perfecting that versus focusing on what gifts we do have. Yeah. And I think we're all guilty of that. Emma was diagnosed with autism just before she turned 3. So we had a few cycle cells. And then, so when she was diagnosed, we immediately started doing the therapies and the programs, and we realized really quickly that insurance does not cover hardly any of it, to be quite honest. State insurance doesn't anyway. Speech was not covered. OT was not covered. ABA is not covered. And those are very expensive therapies for that. So it's just been neat to see God saying, okay, I'm going to take care of you. I got this. Yeah. Don't stress out about it.
Well, I love that part of your story because it just shows the faithfulness of God. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm learning to, whenever God puts something on my heart and my mind, not to just, dismiss it because I might think, okay, I don't know how to do that, or I don't even know, what that's about. Mm-hmm. But I really am learning more and more just start praying about it. And if he's telling me to do it, I mean, that's him. That's if it's not going to go away from your heart and your mind, that's him. That's and that he's got not just, there's a bigger picture. Mm-hmm. And I love that, hearing your story, because I can see that orchestration of God's hand of, you had no idea that We Cycle would be helping your daughter today. Right.
You invited us to Cade's birthday party at Chick-fil-A, which we're not shocked by any means, but just the simple act of inviting your child, especially a child with special needs, to a birthday party is just such an act of kindness and love. And I think that, if parents are out there and they're not parents of special needs children, it's harder to understand. But, you're basically on pins and needles the whole time at a birthday party, hoping your child doesn't have a meltdown or doesn't throw a tantrum or doesn't try to dig into the birthday cake before it is cut and before pictures are taken. Things like that. Mm-hmm. And so to be invited is great. And then you're there just kind of hoping and praying that, because you don't want the attention to be taken off the birthday child. I
love hearing that, and I'm glad that you're sharing that with us, because people need to be aware, and I think people don't realize, how hard it is and how encouraging it can be to a mom or a parents of a daughter or son with autism or whatever that's a big deal. And I think a lot of people will be more intentional if they know, and so I think it's good that you're sharing that.
But the one thing I think the autism journey for us has shown us is to be more gracious and grace giving to people.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing. I think one of our hardest things to do is go out in a public place where we're not in control of all of the environment, like a restaurant, a busy restaurant. And we went to McAllister's after church one Sunday, and Emma was not in the best mood at all. She was really not wanting to be there, but we said, okay, basically ABA therapy says if the child's pitching a fit because the child wants to leave, then you don't leave, because that reinforces the tantrum.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're going to push through this. She just wants to leave, and she needs to understand that, it can't always be the way she wants it to be. So we went out to the back patio. We're like, okay, great, it's quiet, and nobody else is out here to hear this screaming. And I never went to go get food, and this other family came out, and I thought, oh my goodness, they're going to just be like, oh, I don't even want to be out here. And they had 3 children, and they came out, and they were, smiling, and Emma was just, she was yelling, screaming. And we were trying to ignore her, because that's what you do. You just kind of pretend like she's not, which is hard to do when it's 80 decibels in your ear, and, And I just kind of looked over at the mom after about 5 minutes of this, and I just said, I just want you to know, I'm sorry that we're being so loud. I said, my daughter's on the autism spectrum. She goes, oh my goodness, honey, I don't even hear you. I have 3 children over here. It's like white noise. She's like, and you keep on going, warrior mama. You keep on going, and you keep on doing what's best for you and your daughter. And I just thought, I almost got up and gave her a hug, but that would have been awkward. So I said, no, I'm not going to do that. But I thought to myself, oh, if I could that was so needed, because she was a total stranger, and she had no idea what our background was. My other daughter, Meg, who's 2, is just a delight. She is a precious little girl who just adores her big sister and just hangs on every limb of her sister and just follows her as her shadow. And she talks all the time. And, I honestly think Meg's going to be Emma's greatest advocate. And she's going to be like her cheerleader and her coach. And that relationship is just so sweet. Last year, we actually put one of the outtakes on the back of our Christmas card. And it was, I think, kind of hysterical, because you can't even see Hunter's face, because Emma is just flailing, and she has this horrible, I hate being here face. Meg's eating puffs, like little yogurt puffs out of a bag. And I'm just kind of like, have my eyes closed, looking up to God, like, I can't even. We're not, we always put our best face out there, and I do too, don't get me wrong. On social media, and just, we just want everybody to think our lives are great, and we have it together, and our families are doing great. But the reality is, we're all struggling, and I'd be more than happy for folks to email me or get in contact with me. Seriously, I've been there, and I think support is so crucial. So please feel free to reach out.
I know I've been encouraged today, and so share it with all the women in your life.
To contact Shannon, you can find her contact information on our website. It's www.livingoutloud.today. And on the menu button, you can click Stories, and you can find her beautiful picture on our website, as well as her email address.
We can die from the hurt inside, or choose to live.